Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I want to talk about Poshmark. This company just went IPO just in the last 24 hours. Their stock went from $42 a share to $101 a share. That's a 140% increase just today alone, which is just insane. My wife has been selling on Poshmark for about 3 years, so I'm very familiar with this platform. So I want to talk about the stock today and this business model. Is this a good time to buy this stock or not? So stay tuned and I will tell you. Hey, welcome back everybody. My goal here is to help you achieve financial freedom by investing in your future and investing in yourself. This channel is all about the stock market, talking about individual stocks like I am today, talking about stocks I'm buying, stocks I'm selling. I also take a deep dive analysis like I'm doing today on Poshmark and give you my opinion. Is this a good time to buy or not on stocks? If you like those type of videos, I suggest you subscribe so you can see more coming out. If you enjoy this video, please like, helps out the channel. All right, let's get right into this Poshmark. So their stock went from $42 to $101 today. Their market cap went up to almost $8 billion just at the end of today alone. You know, part of this IPO, they raised about $280 million, so quite a bit of money there. All right, so in this analysis, I'm going to talk about, what this business does. I'm going to talk about the management team, what I think of the CEO specifically. I'm going to talk about, what kind of competitive advantage, if they have one, versus their competitors, because this is a very competitive, fierce space just in general. And so I'm going to also talk about financials, what we know of the financials. They haven't been a public company more than a day, but I do have some financials for you guys. And I'm going to talk about valuation and where I think this company is worth. I'm going to tell you if I'm buying or not buying, in my opinion, overall. So, all right, so what is this company? When did they start? So they started back in 2011. So Poshmark is a marketplace for sellers and buyers to go to, and sellers sell basically secondhand clothing, or that's what mostly is on there. They also sell handbags, jewelry, and some other products, and it's kind of cool too because they not only have secondhand clothing on there, but they have like boutiques and other type of individual unique shops within Poshmark that people can create almost like their own little store basically, and they call them closets. So sellers can go in there and create a closet of a ton of different types of clothes and jewelry and all that kind of good stuff to sell. The buyers go on there and then they can look through the different feed that's going on to see if there's anything that they like there. They can actually go search for specific items. They can find somebody's closet, go through their closet and look. It's very, very flexible. So, if a buyer likes a particular item or maybe a couple items, they can actually work with the seller on maybe bundling some items, getting some discounts and that sort of thing. And so Poshmark doesn't really have any inventory. It's really the seller's inventory. They're just kind of a platform where sellers can sell their stuff and buyers can go buy stuff. Now, how Poshmark makes money is they actually make a small fee on each transaction that takes place on their platform. Currently, there's about 31 million active users on Poshmark, so this is a big platform. They have roughly about 6 billion buyers, and then they have about 4 billion active sellers. In 2019 alone, the sellers made over $2 billion on the Poshmark platform, so pretty impressive. All right, so let's talk about the management team and specifically the CEO. And he's actually the founder of this company. His name is Manish Chandra. Hopefully I'm saying his first name correct, but really impressed with this guy a lot. I mean, I've watched several different interviews he had on YouTube with CNBC and some others, and he's really dedicated to his craft. He really enjoys what he does, and even in the videos today, they were asking him, hey, your stock has shot up, more than double. Aren't you excited? And he just said, I'm really just focused on making our business better. I'm focusing on changing e-commerce, and the stock's going to do what it's going to do, but I'm really focused on my business and really, really changing the world with e-commerce. So I really kind of like he wasn't focused on the stock price. And he has a really impressive resume. He actually founded a company before Poshmark called caboodle. It was also an online platform as well, and he's worked at numerous different companies and leadership, including a company that was bought out by SAP. So he has a vast, deep resume that's really, really impressive overall. All right, so let's kind of talk about a moat or competitive advantage that Poshmark might have compared to their competitors, and really listen to the CEO and even my wife talking about it. Poshmark is basically a social platform. That's how they're really, really different. I mean, they have competitors like eBay. I would actually say is their biggest competitor. They have Etsy, Mercari. You could even consider like a Stitch Fix might be in there. There's ThreadUp is another one of those companies, but Poshmark is trying to separate themselves. So here in the last year, they actually created these Posh stories where sellers could go in there and create short videos of their products and their closet, and they're trying to connect with the buyer. And when buyers go on there too, I mean, they can talk to the sellers and ask them questions, and it's really just a whole social platform, which is very different than say like eBay. You can ask questions, but it's very kind of just blah, going on there. There's not a personal touch to anything, where Poshmark is very different. And, sellers, can really build a reputation on there. They have followers. My wife has like 100,000 plus followers on there herself. But you build up a resume on there, and buyers go on. If they know you, they'll come back to your closets, and you can really, as a seller, build your brand within the Poshmark community and do really well. And so that really, to me, kind of sets Poshmark, it sets itself apart from the other competitors. And not only that, it's kind of neat because Poshmark doesn't have to have any inventory. I mean, it's the sellers that have the inventory. There's kind of like a pass-through platform with the seller and the buyer. And not only that, but even this pandemic has even really shown how flexible Poshmark is. So, all of a sudden people are staying home, all of a sudden they're starting to wear sneakers instead of business shoes. They're wearing sweatpants, that sort of thing. And Poshmark can just be flexible. The sellers can shift and transition and start selling what people want. And actually their business has taken off, where a lot of other companies have done poorly. The e-commerce clothing business has really done well. And going back to the sellers real quick, it does empower them. If they put the work in, the time in, just like YouTube. I mean, YouTube, you get on there and you start, I'm a new YouTuber. I have less than 200 subscribers. I mean, it takes a long time to build your subscriber base. It's the same way with Poshmark. I mean, you're trying to build up a following. You're trying to build up your resume. But if you put the time in, Poshmark does reward you. They have their own algorithm, just like YouTube does. So I do like that about Poshmark. All right, so let's talk about some risks that are associated with Poshmark. And I've already kind of talked about it, but it is very fierce and competitive on the e-commerce clothing market just in general. I mean, you're talking Etsy and eBay and Stitch Fix and RealReal and ThreadUp, and I mean, it goes on and on and on, right? So Poshmark, like I said before, they have their Posh stories, and it's a very social platform, and so they're trying to connect their sellers and buyers, which is good, which is setting themselves apart from their competitors. But they're going to have to continue to adapt, continue to change into the future, because I do think e-commerce is just going to keep building and building and building, and people will still shop at the brick and mortar stores, I'm sure, even when this whole vaccine rollout takes place and people feel comfortable. But just in general, e-commerce is just going to be just a fluid situation, and Poshmark specifically needs to change with that. Another thing is too, and we'll get to the financials here in a second, but they just recently became profitable, so they need to be able to prove that this is a sustaining, profitable business into the future. And obviously they've been around for 10 years and they've made it this far, but as investors and shareholders, you really need to be able to prove that you can build your earnings and grow it out into the future. All right, so let's talk about the financials and what we know right now. So quarter two, period ending June 30th, 2020, that was the first quarter that Poshmark ever made money in their history. So congrats to them on that. And definitely the pandemic had a big play in that, people staying at home. either couldn't go out or they were fearful of going out, so they started ordering clothes online. I mean, look at Stitch Fix. I mean, it has just taken off as well too. Revolve is another one that's really taken off. Rural's taken off. So that's really definitely helped. Now, quarter three, so period ending September 30th, I have some really hard facts number for you guys. So they had $69 million in revenue for that quarter, and they have $11 million of net income. That is really good. Really, really, really good. So hopefully they can sustain that going out into the future, but those are solid numbers. All right, so let's kind of talk valuation, and guys, I'll be completely honest. It is hard to value a company like this that's brand new, doesn't have a long history of earnings, and so in the whole pandemic that just happened, I mean, they're kind of going through a positive event, even though it's negative for our economy, it's positive for them, and has really created an influx of revenue and profits for them. So it's really hard to determine what their exact price should be. You know, right now they're hovering around a market cap of $8 billion, you know, which is a tick up from like what Real is, what Revolve is, even Stitch Fix at this time. So I can't give you an exact number at this point, but I will say that, you know, the $101 and $8 billion market cap is pretty rich right now. And I'll kind of get into, you know, my opinion right now too. I'm not going to buy, as much as I like this business model, and I do think Poshmark is unique. I do think they can become profitable, but they need to sustain that self for a long time. I do like the platform. My wife sells on there. Like I said, she will continue selling on there. I want to see what happens in the next year as the, you know, pandemic starts fading away, as people get vaccines, people start getting out, start buying more brick and mortars. What is Poshmark going to do? How are they going to sustain themselves? How are they going to continue to separate themselves from the competitors? So at this time, I just can't value it specifically to say this is what the market cap should be, this is what the dollar value should be. I'm going to sit and wait. I'm going to see what's going to happen in the next 6 months. I want to see the next 2 quarters of revenue. I think the next one's going to be really good. So it will not surprise me if this stock keeps going up. Just in general, and in this next quarter, even with the big stimulus also coming out, that Biden just put out for $1.9 billion. He's now proposing that $1,400 per person is going to be going out once he gets into office. So, you know, I suspect Poshmark is going to get a big tick up in the next quarter for sure, and I expect their stock probably to go up even further from there. But after that point, I want to see what happens. So those are my thoughts, guys. If you enjoyed this video at all, please like it. I want to see more videos like this. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I will catch you guys on the other side. God bless. Take care.